Hello.
Hello.
So, Kristrun,
Yes.
do you know what stirrups are?
I do. I do.
Do you know how many people walk in our clinic every month
Hmm.
and they have had their baby and they give birth using stirrups?
Well, I actually thought that stirrups were only used in the Monty Python movies, but
Okay, that's a
no.
good thing. That's a well-educated public, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe not,
Maybe
because
not.
that's not reality.
No.
We're still in now 1960 or whatever, or 70 years.
So this is still used.
So, stirrups during labor were used, obviously, in the past
Yeah,
for the last stage of the birth.
I get
So
that.
someone needs
But it's
to
very
tell.
common in the movies. You see it in
Jennifer
movies.
Aniston used it, yes.
Did she?
Yeah.
Does she have a baby?
In the movies.
In the movies, yeah.
Many movies she
Yeah.
gave birth.
Oh yeah.
Never mind. So stirrups, it's actually, I think it's a funny thing that we're even discussing this.
Yeah. But why?
But it's that serious. It's not at all funny. Because it's the reality for many women. And to be honest, it does not really matter. At that end of the labor, someone asks you to put your feet or your legs on the stirrups, you do so. And you give birth, you have a beautiful baby, it does not matter.
Yeah.
Because you don't know any better, and perhaps it was fine. It's just one of those things. Right? But let me demonstrate.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm in labor, and I'm finally 10 centimeters. Maybe
Am
after,
I following you with the camera?
Yes.
Okay.
So after hours of going through labor, I am finally 10 centimeters. I say, I need to push. And someone says, oh, okay, let me just set up the stirrups. Okay, I'm not a hippie or a strange person. I'm just an ordinary mom, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I go and say, okay, fine, I've been comfortable where I was, but okay, bring on the stirrups. So I go into the bed, into the stirrups, right?
Yes.
It makes sense. Okay, so to not be offensive to the public.
Yeah.
So here I am, trying to give birth.
Why do we have any audiences?
Okay, but actually, for those of you that want to give birth and find some comfort, wouldn't it be much nicer, even if you had to be on the labor bed, right?
Yeah.
To go and say, okay, fine, I will get on the bed, but I'll do it the opposite way. So I will do it like this. Here.
And use gravity. That makes sense. It makes full sense.
Well, use gravity, and nothing's restricted. I'm kind of in my own world. Nobody's looking at my vagina, right? Right? Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I push, I'm not on my back like this. How awkward is this? Okay, never mind. Let's go back.
Yeah, but there's the obvious only reason for this is the conveniency of the staff in the hospital, right?
Well,
or the camera crew of Monty Python.
Well, it's not necessarily that the staff is bad. The staff was trained to catch the baby or help the women, where they had full access, full view, just like the king those years ago, to see what was happening. And possibly in those years, say 20, 30 years ago, everyone was trained to do an episiotomy, to do a cut to the perineum. And it's very hard, or it's quite hard to do that in that position I just showed, right? And unfortunately, this hasn't, you just have to know your way around. But anyway, obviously we don't need episiotomies all the time anymore.
Yeah, so that's no longer a standard procedure.
No, not. So it's not necessarily the reason anymore. But we get stuck with using these technologies, or using the stirrups, using the traditional way. And for as mothers who don't know any better, you just follow. You follow who you trust, and you trust the people who are helping you to give birth. doctors, midwives, whatever. And again, so assume that they're not bad people. You don't know any better, so this will happen quite often.
But, and the people and women end up in the stirrups giving birth.
Yeah, and you saw how stupid that position was, right?
I can see that very easily.
So this is just a message to women who are about to give birth that the stirrups are not a necessary part of labor.
Yeah.
They are very much the reality for many women that this will be pulled out at the last minute, only 10 centimeters. Come on, darling, it's fine. That's how we usually do it. It's okay, we'll help you. And if you don't know any better, that's what you're going to end up doing.
So you're saying the stirrups are not in the best interest of the woman giving birth. There's another position that makes much more sense. Baby will come out more easily.
At least to have the option. And not necessarily. There are people who can be in that position. I was in there, but not in the stirrups, and perhaps they're tired, or they've tried to be on their knees, or on their side, or standing, or squatting, but they've ended up in that position, and it feels comfortable. Then it's valid.
Yeah,
of course.
Not as the standard position.
No. And I think that this message cannot be said or told often enough.
Yeah.
The ridiculousness of it, I feel we need to throw out there for people to see, because often it's hard to position yourself or imagine yourself in that position when you're still just pregnant, right?
Mm-hmm. So practice your positions, understand your options, have a midwife review with you what you can or cannot do. I mean, women have physical, different physical conditions, so they may
need to be in this position. For example, if you're giving birth to twins, or if it's a breech birth, or sometimes it's at the end. This makes perfect sense. That's not what I'm saying.
No,
it's just.
I think you made your point.
Yeah, very clear. Very, very good. So I hope everyone saw that, had a little bit of fun. Realized it's not just for strange people who are kind of going against the stream. It's just the ordinary person who wants to give birth should not have to meet the stirrups. Ever.
Okay, just the very last thing, very good point. You've given birth 4 times. Can you share with us what positions you used, please?
Yes.
At the very, very end.
At the very, very end, I have used lying flat on my back, in a completely flat position,
with your legs straight. Oh, sorry.
Half straight, really.
Yeah.
In the Queen Mary Hospital, nice and slow and whatever, but it was a perfectly fantastic position, just chosen by me.
Yeah.
I had been on my knees on the floor. And in the Matilda Hospital, I have been in Akureyri in Iceland, in the hospital there, on a beanbag on the floor. And then my first birth was sticking my bum on the side of the hospital bed, but essentially standing.
So like half squatting.
Sort of facing away from the bed. And what happens then is that the husband can sit behind, like in my case. The midwife could just catch the baby if she needed to. Essentially, I'll show you. Okay? Essentially, I was like this on the bed. The bed was here, and so when the baby came, I would just catch it.
So you could catch it yourself.
Yeah.
Anyway, stirrups.
Bye bye.
Bye bye, stirrups.